Second big reason for inflation is Vladimir Putin. From the moment he put his over 150,000 troops on the Ukrainian border, the price of gasoline in January went up 75 cents.
President warning about US petrol or gas price hikes.
The decision today is not without cost here at home. Putin's war is already hurting American families at the gas pump. Since Putin began his military buildup on Ukrainian borders, just since then, the price of the gas at the pump in America went up 75 cents. And with this action, it's going to go up further. I'm going to do everything I can to minimize Putin's price hike here at home.
Thank you, Jen. We just heard you say again that you think inflation is going to be temporary. We've heard you say that it was going to be temporary since last spring. So how long do you guys think temporary is?
Well, again, Peter, I think what we do is we rely on the assessments of the Federal Reserve and of outside economic analysts who give an assessment of how long it will last. The expectations and their assessment at this point continues to be that it will moderate by the end of the year. There's also no question that when a foreign dictator invades a foreign country, and when that foreign dictator is the head of a country that is the third largest supplier of oil in the world, that is going to have an impact, and it is.
And so to that point, inflation goes up today. The president's statement blames the Putin price hike. Are you guys just going to start blaming Putin for everything until the midterms?
Well, we've seen the price of gas go up at least 75 cents since President Putin lined up troops on the border of Ukraine.
And last month, the statement didn't mention the Putin price hike. It mentioned inflation because of the pandemic. Why is that?
Well, Peter, last 2 years, there was a global pandemic. Everyone who's global economists have all agreed that that has been the biggest contributor to date of inflation because of the impact on the supply chain. Obviously, global events impact the global economy, as well as global inflation. And the price hikes as a result that have escalated over the course of time of President Putin's further invasion of the impact on the global oil markets are, of course, having an impact.
Breaking here just moments ago, brand new numbers on inflation. So let's get straight to CNN chief business correspondent Christine Romans. All right, what do they say, Christine?
They say that inflation is accelerating. These are pre-war numbers as well. So many people had thought we'd see a peak in inflation in March, maybe. Well, now we have a war in Russia not captured, a war in Ukraine not captured here. Year over year, 7.9% is the inflation number. That is a 40-year high. Month over month, up 0.8%. That shows that even month to month, inflation is accelerating. It is gas, it is shelter, it is food, groceries, all these things you basically can't live without are rising here. So when you dig into these numbers, you can see just why so many Americans are so sour on the economy on those opinion polls. It's because they're paying more for just about everything. Used cars, look at that, Brianna, up 41%. From last year, gasoline up 38%. And again, these numbers don't capture the big disruption in the economy from Putin's war in Ukraine. We'll continue to watch these numbers.
The February release of CPI, Consumer Price Index, of course, is going to be huge. The month-over-month number, as expected, up 0.8%. The high water mark here was actually up 0.9. So we have a bit of a reprieve there. If you strip out the all-important food and energy, exactly as expected, up 0.5. That also has had a high water mark of up 0.9. That was all the way back in April of last year. Now we get to the money numbers. Year over year, as expected, it's 7.9% for year-over-year inflation, following 7.5 that could get revised. 7.9, we go to the Wayback Machine to find a higher level of inflation. You're looking at 8.4% in June of 82 as your comp, and on the year-over-year ex-food and energy, known as core, exactly as expected, up 6.4%. Of course, 6% in the rearview mirror. That still may get revised. 6.4%, well, that comps to the same as the 6%. 1982, August of 82, when it was 7.1%. Now, on initial jobless claims, we're expecting a number right around 217,000. Well, 227,000 is the number from a slightly revised 216,000, so it's up 11,000. Remember, the post-COVID low going all the way back into those wild 60s was 188,000. That was back in December, I believe the first week in December. And finally, continuing claims, always a week in arrears. This is February 26. 1,494,000, and that sequentially follows the slightly revised 1,469,000. The low water mark there was a couple weeks ago at 1,474,000. So these are good numbers. Maybe continuing claims isn't as good or initial claims, but they're still very good numbers. The big news obviously continues to be the push and pull of geopolitics into a Treasury market, much more, at least price-wise and statistically concerned with what's going to happen on March 16th, the upcoming beginning of a tightening cycle, already telegraphed to supposedly be 1/4 of a point. And, of course, this inflation news is going to be tough for the administration. Nothing, Joe, nothing has been more politicized than inflation. Just let's hearken back to all the things we've been through. First, it was transitory. Then, inflation is good. Then we went to corporate greed. Now we're at Putin. Listen, it's probably all the above, but no matter how you slice it, it's all about commodities for the most part. And king commodity is energy. And most people in the United States are reminded of that about what? Every 3 to 4 days when they go fill up their tanks. Back to you.